We're here.
We are back.
Episode 3.
Jesus Christ, we're bad at this.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. Wow.
I'm just shocked every time we get back for another episode, but we're here.
I know.
We're doing a 4th episode right after this, so we've got another one coming. Confirmed.
If you think the first 2 were good, then
Just you wait for this.
just you wait. What's happened since we've last been on the old pod game?
Wrexham.
Wrexham.
Promotion.
Yeah.
Won the league. Leyton Orient won the league, had their pitch invasion.
They had their end of season.
No, they didn't. That was before it. Yeah, they had their end of season awards.
Season awards, that looked like a right laugh. Jaden had a laugh, didn't he?
Yep. Looked fun.
That looked like a real good time. Should have invited us, actually.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's a shame. Well, hopefully today's guest will invite us on when they achieve promotion to the Football League.
Who knows? We might be at Wembley when this podcast comes out. They could be 6 days away from Wembley. Shall we introduce? Shall we say who it is first?
We'll do.
Well, you can tell by the title. We always do this. We always act as if we're really suspicious on who we're having on, and someone will have clicked on it because their name is in the title.
Yeah.
So it's Bromley's Charlie Kendall.
Charlie Kendall. At the start of the season, he was on loan at Sutton United following a move from Lincoln, who he moved to in the summer. He is now at Bromley, who achieved the playoffs in the National League, a National League that has been dominated by Wrexham and the Hollywood Boys and Notts County, who deserve to go up.
Yeah.
But we are fully supporting Bromley.
Yeah. Sorry, Notts. Sorry,
Notts County. Sorry, everyone else. Up the Charlie Kendall, up the Bromley. And let's get into the episode. I've lost my Mars bar. No, I found it. Pre-podcast snack.
You take it away.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with Bromley. Being at Bromley, joining in January, you got your first goal against Dorking. Talk us through getting off the mark.
I think it was due, to be fair. I'd had a good run of games. I was in quite a good headspace, so to get a goal and the win on that specific day, to put us where we were in the league at the time, was like a good top off. It was a good little touch.
Because I remember speaking to you after the Sutton loan. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get that first goal, but it looked like from your celebration you were relieved. Was it a bit of relief, bit of like, oh, thank God?
A little bit, I guess. A little bit. I mean, for me, I always back myself to score goals, no matter what team I'm in. I just need half a chance. So whenever I get into that situation, I fully back myself anyway. So a relief is probably not the word I'd use, but just a good feeling.
Woking coming up, at some point they were potentially going to be on 100 points if they could have won all their games. So it's not easy. How do you prepare yourself? How's the team preparing? How are you changing the way you're going into this?
I mean, the team's all in high spirits. Obviously, we've secured playoffs, which is a big deal for the club. The club's never been a football league team club, so if we get through the playoffs and get promoted, it means it's the first time in history that the club become an EFL club. So there's a lot of positivity around the camp. I wouldn't say much nervousness because we're all just excited to play like knockout football. It's always good fun, and especially if you get the win, then it's an extra special feeling rather than winning in the league and then playing again the following week. This one's all in or nothing. So I think the boys are pretty excited about it. Personally, I'm pretty excited. It's my second playoff charge, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, I think with Capital Lowdown, we're completely supporting, won't we?
Absolutely.
I'll be there. I said after our chat after Sutton, I'd be trying to follow you as close as I can. And I watched your game against Maidstone. I think I'm going to have to talk about the unfortunate challenge. Do you think that was a red?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a kind of player who gets sent off or goes in for bad tackles regularly. but I think it could have been given either way. Obviously, the refs made a decision on the spot, so it was probably right in fairness. But learning from that, I'm definitely not that kind of player, so I'm just not going to do it again.
Well, I think that's what I was trying to gain from the commentary. I was watching the highlights, and even the commentators were a bit like, "Hey, like that's not red." I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to get the challenge up because I think a lot of people would say that's harsh. But it looked like you accepted it.
Yeah, from the video, it doesn't look as bad as I think it could have looked in person. I think that's why people are defending me a little bit. But at the end of the day, I've probably gone in a little bit too high. Studs showing, but this one, man, it could have gone either way. But all I took from it is that that's not going to happen again because I don't want to be in that situation again.
Was there a telling off afterwards?
Not really. No, everyone just kind of just.
Because you won the game, didn't you?
Yeah, we won the game in the end. So I think everyone was just so focused on winning the game and what's going to happen in the next game that it kind of just fizzled out and nothing really came from it.
That's the first time. I think that's the first time you got a red card, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my first time. I rarely even get booked.
Yeah. Well, were you speaking to Mandela Egbo from Charlton last week about like bookings? And he was saying he hardly ever gets booked for a right back, but like he gets the odd like booking, but he never seemed to accept them. Every booking he was telling us about, he was like, no, but I didn't do it wrong. I didn't do this. But it's kind of I've only been booked once. I don't know about you.
I never get booked, mate. I'm a good lad.
I struggle to believe that. I was looking at like obviously you're in the playoffs now, and you're up against the big teams in the league, but against I'm not sure which games you played in, but against Notts County, I mean you drew both games, and they've only just missed out on playoffs by 4 points and about £100 million. Wrexham, I think you had a tight 2-1 loss to them as well. So does that give you a lot of confidence that against like the two biggest teams in the league, you guys have really done well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the league as a whole, on the day, anyone can really get a result against anyone. So against Notts County, we had two penalties. One was missed, one was converted, and we had a strong penalty appeal as well, which should have been a penalty. So we should have had 3 penalties, but luckily we managed to stay 1-0 up for literally the majority of the game. I was suspended at this point following the red card. But I mean, Notts County are such a good side. They'll pick you apart in the last seconds of the game, and that's what they did. That one really good pass through the back line, and they just nicked an equaliser in the last minute. But we held our own against them.
I think you are one of the players who's been able to play in League Two and the National League this season. League Two has been tight at the top end, tight at the bottom end. I think when you were at Sutton, there was a bit of an injury crisis going on, wasn't there? It seemed that everyone who walked on the pitch didn't leave the pitch unless they were on a stretch or anything as such. It was very unfortunate at times. But can you compare a difference between the two? Is there a difference?
I mean, for me personally, a big difference would be the surface. So Bromley's home pitch is obviously a 4G pitch, and every team in League Two is obviously grass. So for me, that's a big difference and a big standout. But in quality, not much different, to be honest. I mean, any team in this league, well, I'd say the majority of the teams in this league could definitely play in League Two, vice versa. So it's quite a tight league. Both very physically demanding. So yeah, they're very similar in my opinion.
Well, like every time I speak to someone who knows a bit about Wrexham, they always say, this was before they confirmed promotion, but they always said, like, if they go up this season, I reckon they'll get playoffs straight away next season, just because the level's not much different. It's just so hard to get out the National League. Do you think that's a format that maybe needs to be slightly looked at, how there's only one automatic promotion spot?
Well, I mean, I've heard that they could possibly be changing it in the next season or so, whatever. But I'm not really too sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother me who goes up, who goes down. But possibly, maybe two go up, two go down might be a good thing. Gives teams like Notts County and Wrexham like a bit of more of an advantage to go up if they deserve it. In my opinion, both the teams deserve to go up. So if there's more people going up, then fair play to them. But then you can say on the flip side, if two go down, no one wants more. Like no one wants to go down. So if you've got more of a chance to go down, then it could go against you. But yeah, it's one of them.
I mean, I know they do it in Portugal, but they have. I don't know. I'm going to ask this to both of you guys here, so get ready. This is a question for the group. They have a relegation qualification, so the bottom two. I think there's 18 in the division. The bottom two go down. The third bottom is. I think they'll play a team in the league below. Is that something that you think we should consider in England for League Two, especially?
They do it in Germany. I remember, I think it was last season, like the team scored a last-minute winner, and like the scenes were like. But I think that's a really good idea, especially when you get the Premier League and the Championship. Like, you've obviously got 3 go down in the Premier League, but like it would be quite cool if you had like an extra team in the Championship, and an extra team in the Premier League, and there's a playoff, just like a one game playoff at a neutral stadium, like not Wembley, somewhere else, somewhere big. I reckon that would be brilliant.
Do you fancy yourself against, well, unfortunately it'll be my team, Wimbledon. If the top team in the playoffs, do you reckon you're taking Jack Curry? Fancy him in one-on-one?
Of course.
So we'll say playoff relegation, so whoever wins the playoffs would potentially be in the qualification. Do you think that's something that as a player you'd like to see, or the atmosphere of that occasion?
I mean, I guess so. I guess it can be seen as a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's another game at the end of the season, and I think if you've missed out on promotion, to be fair, another shot at it would be all right, would be good. But then, I mean, I guess it's a good idea. To be honest, it is a good idea because then you get, like I say, another shot at promotion. So.
I think the playoffs is so cruel because, you know, yourself, you've got Woking in there, I think Chesterfield in there as well.
Yeah,
and Notts County, if you're hitting 100 points and you're not getting promoted, it's so cruel, it's so harsh. There's so much quality in that top 7-6 teams. I think it would be cruel for any of you lot to not go up. It's something we should look at. Unfortunately, we don't work for the EFL and we don't work for the National League, but whenever they watch this, they're going to say, well, these lads have got an idea in them. I think we can move on to growing up. Your football started. Were you at a team before QPR, or how did you get into QPR? Scouting, anything like that?
So I was a young lad. I was probably 13, 14 maybe, just playing Sunday League football. I'd had a few trials growing up when I was like 10, 11, 12. So I was young. But after not getting into any of them, I kind of just said, right, I just want to play, just kind of give the trials a break and then just play as much football as I can, really. So I was playing Sunday League up until 14 for a team called Wadhurst United or something like that. I can't even remember their name.
We'll get the badge up. on the.
Yeah. It's like it's a team in the Kent League. So QPR must have caught wind that I was scoring loads of goals and obviously being top scorer in that league, playing for one season there. They'd come down to one of my games and pulled me and my parents after the game and just said, fancy a trial? This is QPR. And then I just said, yeah, and then got literally straight to it, almost within a week or so. So yeah, that's how QPR kind of came along. It was quite a long-winded trial. It was like you go into a pre-trial kind of development training sessions where it was around Wembley Stadium. So we train probably once, twice a week up there. And if you were good enough there, then you get filtered into the QPR academy.
I mean, QPR have not only yourself, there's many players playing in and around the Football League. There's some big names, obviously. You've got Eze's a big one, but for me, a striker, not quite similar to you in style or height, you got Peter Crouch. Are they good at working with attackers? Was there anyone who kind of stood out to you there? Any names that you can think of?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Eze was the standout player throughout near enough my whole time there. Strikers, there was a period where Nahki Wells was playing for QPR. He's at Bristol City now. Very, very good player. He was probably the one that I would look to as most similar to me. So yeah, there was a lot to work with. I mean, due to circumstances, me and the young lads probably didn't get enough exposure to the first team as we'd liked, but that's just club politics. But yeah, there was a lot of big names there that I did look up to at the time.
Do you think when you're coming to the age where you see players breaking into the team and you're one of the ones who, as you just said, you're not getting as much action as you'd like, is there talks with coaches, mentors, or is it kind of like at that age you have to make the decision yourself, as if you want to go out on loan or maybe leave clubs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a prime example of that, to be honest. I was getting to the point where not training with the first team, not being around the first team was really like getting to me and kind of being a hindrance on my development and my career. So I'd obviously been speaking with my agent and speaking to some of the coaches, trying to sort out loans and stuff. I did end up going out on loan. I think the COVID season, I went on loan to Eastbourne Bar when I was 18, 19, which was really good for my development. And then after the COVID year, I wanted to just really rocket my career and actually kickstart my career by playing senior football. And I wasn't getting that at QPR, so I'd had a few talks with coaches and obviously people who would back me, and came to the conclusion that I couldn't go on loan, and there wasn't a chance at the time for me to train or be around the first team. So I think the best decision for me at the time was to just leave and try and find my own path, rather than wait and possibly wasting another year, 2 years not playing any senior football at all, let alone league football. So you kind of have to take it on yourself. You have to read the room, read the scenario that you're in, and kind of think about yourself rather than where the club's at or whatever. So
I think that's something. So our previous 2 podcasts, both football players have said that they've been in academies, they've been there for a while, and they've had different. You've all had different routes. Everyone we spoke to so far. Is there advice you'd give to someone who's maybe in an academy?
Yeah, I would. I'd say the first thing I'd say is if you're not getting even in the like the under-23s or the reserve squads, if you're not getting many minutes, do all you can to go out on loan, play senior football, play men's football, get a feel of what the actual football world's like, because everyone knows that academy football, I wouldn't say it's not real football, but it's not. You're not fighting for 3 points. There's nothing really to play for at the end of the day. So for any young players who really want to kick on, I'd say the first step is to ask to go out on loan and try and get a loan sorted.
When you were speaking about going on loan. We see loads of players now growing up. Probably the last 7-8 years, loads of players in England growing up, going out on loans abroad a lot more now. So when we spoke to Mandela Egbo last week, he moved to Germany when he was 17. Was that something that you considered, or did you always want to try and stay in the Football League in England?
I've never really thought about it too much. I've probably never really been in the situation where I could choose to go abroad to play football, but I've always been open to it. But where I've been in my career in the last probably 3 years, probably going abroad wouldn't be the best idea for me. I'd rather stay in England, make a name for myself here before I start thinking about going abroad or whatever.
I mean, we'll talk about Sutton as well. So, coming away from a team in League Two, you've now shown what you can do in the National League, and although stats and stuff may not show, I think the fact that you've come into a team and helped them get the playoffs, you would have made a name for yourself. Do you know what's coming next for Charlie Kendall? Do you know where you're going to be next season? Any ideas? Any chats with the agent?
To be honest with you, I have no idea, and it's a little bit exciting and a little bit anxious to kind of just know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, football is a last minute sport, so you might not know until the day before that the club wants to go on loan, that you're going somewhere else, that you've got to pack your bags and travel. But for now, I'm not really thinking about next season. I'm just trying to get the most that I can out of now, the next couple of weeks, playoffs, etc. Have a good summer, train hard, and get focused, ready for the new pre-season to try and prove myself even more, to try and get into that starting 11 for Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. And obviously over the summer, before like whoever team you're with, before you join them for pre-season, what kind of, because we don't really hear too much of it, what's kind of like a professional footballer's lifestyle over the summer when they're not with their club? Like, obviously you're going to go on holiday and all of that, but how much training do you do yourself when you're not with your club over the summer?
Great question. Very good question.
Yeah, good question. For me personally, I always tell myself that I'm going to have the first week or 2 weeks completely off. No, doing nothing, like just stay with the family. Don't think about football. Don't do any running or anything. I get about 3 days in and I'm itching to do anything. I play a lot of six-a-side football. I hate the running aspect of it, but it's got to be done. So after the probably first or second week is where your program that the team gives you will start to ramp up. You'll have to do more running, more fitness stuff to get you ready, and then week 3, 4, 5, and 6 is pretty hardcore to really get you fit enough to hit the ground running.
But you said how, like, you give yourself like 2 weeks where you do nothing, but after 3 days you just want to get back at it. But like, for me, it's the opposite. When I've got my holidays and I'm like, okay, I've got an assignment due at the end of the month, so I'm going to give myself 2 weeks to chill, and then I'm going to start my assignment. But then I get to like 2 days before my assignment and I've shagged it. Like, kind of like, what type of mentality? Well, I guess like with football, obviously, I'm always itching to kick a ball, and I'm obviously not a professional footballer. What is there like a mentality that as a footballer you need to have to kind of just say, all right, I need to go and train now, that I should probably start implementing with my university works?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know whether it's just me as a person. I'm not one to really do nothing for too long. Maybe it's just because I get restless, or I just love playing football or love fitness, that kind of stuff. But for me, it's just second nature. Like, I'll wake up and I think I need to do something, and I'll just do it. Like, it's not really, I don't really think twice about it. I get to the end of the day and I think, oh, I haven't done anything today, but I've only been off for 5 days. but I'll do something tomorrow. Like I'll just get up and do something. Like, it's not really something I think about too much. If I feel that the time's right, then it's right.
I was going to say, you mentioned six-a-side. When you're playing six-a-side as a professional footballer, do you find yourself being too competitive? Do you find yourself going in with a bit of confidence?
Yeah, I enjoy it because it gives me a bit of an escape to playing, like from playing competitive football, 11-a-side league football. So I get to just like turn up with my friends, play a team full of my friends, full of people older than me, younger than me, same age as me, like, and I just go and I just have fun. Like I don't have to care about anything. Like I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. No one's telling me to do anything. So it's just the sense of freedom that I like, not necessarily I love playing six-a-side. It's just the freedom that I get when I do play six-a-side to like really showcase like what sparked me enjoying football the most as a kid. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, I play 11-a-side for uni, and then I play six-a-side with my mates every Thursday, and I prefer six-a-side all the time, just because for six-a-side, like I play striker, but obviously I'm a bit completely different because I'm like 6'3", so I'm not really good with my feet. I'm more in the air. But obviously, then when it comes to six-a-side, I've got to be good with my feet. I always just find myself just taking the mick when I'm playing six-a-side because like our team's not great. We're full of uni students who like obviously you live a uni lifestyle. Obviously, you're probably drinking too much than a footballer should be. So obviously, like my cardio is absolutely awful. So I just find myself just trying to like nutmeg people.
yeah, I mean that's half the fun, isn't it?
Yeah, like I thrive off nutmegs more than goals on six-a-side. I'm dead serious.
Nutmegs and arguments.
Yeah, literally. I like getting in people's heads. It's great. I've managed to get. I know a guy called Mo Fowl who plays in the National League South, and I've managed to get him to play for my Thursday six-a-side team this Thursday. So this will probably be the only game that I'm like I want to try and impress because
Dust off those skills.
dust off skills. I want him to be like, oh, do you want to come play up front with me next season? Get your semi-pro contract. Yeah. It won't happen, but
Never happened of the year award goes to Billy.
When you're playing six-a-side, obviously the lads you're playing against, I'm guessing it's like a league. Do they know that you're like a professional footballer, or do you kind of keep it quiet?
No, so I don't take anything with me. Like everything that like my CV just gets left at the door. I just go out there. No one knows who I am. Half the time I don't even know the players I'm playing with. I just play with one of my friends who has a team, and I'm just like, yeah, if there's a space, let me join.
I'm just trying to see the finals on the 13th of May. If Bromley are in the final, and is that at Wembley?
It will be, yeah.
All right, we'll be there.
We are so there.
Oh, okay, that's a promise.
Just drop me a text and I'll get you some tickets.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
How many?
I'm so there.
How many course meals? 5, 6 course meal?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 7 maybe. If you're lucky.
All right, deal. 13th of May. Pen that in the calendar because it's going to happen. Sweet. Well, yeah. Best of luck for Tuesday, Saturday.
Wednesday.
No, sorry. Wednesday, Sunday, and then next week Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, bosh.
Stay fit, stay well, and thank you for coming on, Charlie.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
See
Good
you
luck,
later, mate.
Have a
Thanks
good
lot
one.
for that. See you later, dude.